We begin this evening with Washington, D.C., a buzz with speculation over who will fill out President-elect Donald Trump's new administration. Now, he announced earlier today that he wants Florida Representative Matt Gaetz to be his attorney general, and then former Hawaii Rep. Tulsi Gabbard as his director of national intelligence. But at one point, it had been reported he could be considering Utahns for those jobs. Our Kate Garner looked into whether we could still see some big names from the Beehive State on his cabinet for term 2.
With lots of speculation, rumors, and questions surrounding what President-elect Donald Trump's administration will look like and if it will include any Utahns, I stopped by the Hinckley Institute of Politics to get a better idea of what it may look like and what it would mean if a Utahn were asked to be part of the cabinet.
It's entirely possible.
That's Hinckley Institute of Politics Director Jason Perry.
Well, we have some very high-profile names, people we know well in the state of Utah that are on the list they're talking about in D.C.
Perry says Utahns don't often serve on a presidential cabinet, but it's by no means unheard of.
For Governor Mike Leavitt, who left to run for first the Department of Environmental Quality and then the Department of Health and Human Services. It happens because people do like Utahns, and once they're in these positions, it just enhances our reputation.
So what would happen if a high-profile name, like Senator Mike Lee,
he said just this week he's in the job he wants,
were chosen?
And it just doesn't mean we get a new senator. Sometimes it means we lose a lot of seniority out there as well, which, you know, Washington, D.C. is one of those places that really runs on seniority. If we lose a senator, we lose a prime position sometimes.
An appointment for someone who's not a Utahn could still impact the state. For example, Donald Trump is expected to appoint Representative Elise Stefanik to the United Nations. The obvious choice to replace her in her leadership position is Representative Blake Moore. But in this tweet, he says he's not planning on it. Nonetheless,
I think that we have a chance of being impacted pretty greatly by the changes that happen in the federal government.
Perry says some of those changes will likely happen later.
But we should watch for those agency changes.
These are changes that'll happen in agencies like the Bureau of Land Management.
There are very few states that have as much interest in public lands than the state of Utah.
But he says the positions closest to the president will have the most impact on the state if a Utahn is chosen.
Sometimes they are in a position where they can help the state of Utah, sometimes through appropriations or grants or just in terms of policy. It's good to have people that we know that are looking out for the state in positions nationally.
I reached out to Senators Mike Lee and Mitt Romney, as well as former Representative Chris Stewart, for comment on whether or not they've even been in contact with President-elect Trump and if they would accept a position in his cabinet if asked, none of whom have released a statement. Reporting from Salt Lake City, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.